demonstrate how SecuPi applied data-centric access control, privacy and compliance for AWS product. We are going to demonstrate today on Redshift, RDS, and Athena. You will see how everything is managed by a centralized location, and still you can enjoy this privacy, security, and governance. So let's start. My consumption application will be dbeaver. Here we'll consume the data from the tree. Let's start with connect to all the three. I'm going to connect my Athena, my RDS, and my Redshift. Let's see how the data looks like at rest. So when I will consume the data, for example, from Athena, from a customer table, we will see that all the data is in the clear, even the PII data. Same will happen with my RDS. You can see everything is in the clear. And with my Redshift as well. Great. Now we will see how, based on the SecuPi policies, we can apply column-level security with multiple techniques to protect your data. If you are an unauthorized user, because you're not supposed to expose to a PII data. Let's go to the SecuPi Management Server user interface, where we are configuring the policies. This management server is sitting on a centralized location, either in your VPC or on-premise, and here we are configuring all the policies that will be enforced in every request and every response. And as you can see here, there are 4 main steps that you can apply those policies. I will enable a policy that I pre-configured that has the column level security, and I will save it. Now, after we propagated a new policy, we will go back to our dbeaver, and when we're going to run the same query again, you will see that on the fly, SecuPi applied protection. Here, all the data is encrypted. The same will be on my RDS. The data is encrypted. And on my Athena as well. The data is encrypted. SecuPi identified those sensitive columns and apply the protection on the fly. Now, also, let's see how we can apply the requirement for right to be forgotten, which is known as right of erasure, as part of the governance CCPA GDPR, very easily by a single policy. Let's go back to the SecuPi management server. Here I pre-configured a policy to implement the right to be forgotten, and I'm going to enable it. This method will be implementing right to be forgotten in a soft deletion. So we're not really going to erase the records from the database. And we have a few options for it, and I will explain in a second. Which means that now when I will consume the same query from my Athena, we will see that on the fly, the customers in the forgotten list are hidden. The user is not able to see them anymore. The same will happen for RDS, as you can see here, and the same for my Redshift. Voila! So this forgotten list can be stored somewhere that we can call by a REST API call, and then retrieve this list, and then to soft delete the data. SecuPi can also do hard deletion if you would like, after a retention time. But usually, I can tell you that most of my customers are deciding to keep the data for around 6-7 years until they are erasing the data completely from the database. Now, let's see how the SecuPi functionality of database activity and monitoring is taking place, because we can understand all the activity that goes from the user to the database and coming back. So we can see user behavior analytics and database analytics. Let's take a look on our dashboards. As part of the SecuPi Management Server user interface, we also have the dashboard. First of all, you can see here that every activity is added here to the request real-time activity and monitoring, and every activity is added here to the request log. Let's dive into several of the requests to see what we have. So on the first one, we can see that a minute ago, we just had a request. Select from my Secupa customers, and we can see the IP, and we can see the classification that has been involved in that transaction. And when we're going to dive in, we will able to see that the query was executed by an analyst role. In that time, that was the query. We can see how exactly SecuPi applied the protection. So we can see that we had some generic FPE on the last name, on the first name, on the email, the masking that we did for the soft deletion, for the right of erasure. And the most important thing will be this risk score. This risk score is calculated by SecuPi based on the number of the rows, the sensitivity of the request, and the classification. This is how SecuPi can identify if there is any suspicious request, and then even within a single policy to be able to block the request if it has this risk scoring, this high risk scoring. And this is how we can help you to prevent any malicious activity internally in your organization. This is how all those admin users, high privilege users can use their authorization in order to run certain queries, or I'm going to go to the worst case scenario, stealing your data. And let's say that you don't want to block those requests, you just want to be aware about them. So you can even configure alerts within the SecuPi platform that will pop up in our dashboards, in our analytical alerts. Or even those alerts can be configured to work with the SIEM integration, and you can see it there. Let's take a look on some other from our request log. So that was one. We can see also that this is our request from the RDS, because that was the customer data table. And here we can see that we have data that is geographic data, personal data, email, phone, etc. And here as well, when we're going to dive into the request, we will be able to see everything that we saw before: analyst role, time, query, classification, sensitivity, also how SecuPi applied the protection on all those PII data columns, and again, risk, sensitivity, etc. So everything will be audited and monitored within one single platform. Now let's say that you received several alerts about a specific user, or you have any suspicious user in your organization, and you would like to investigate and understand more about your employees. So in our users dashboard, we have user behavior analytics. Let's choose, for example, a simple user called Jill. Jill is an analyst. She's an employee in my organization. And I would like to run analysis about Jill in the last, let's take a look on, for example, 6 months. So I can see here that week, I can even change it for let's say hour resolution. I can get the understanding about Jill's, this is the blue line, compared to Jill's peers. And to understand if Jill is treating in some suspicious behavior internally. And also I can here create some advanced dashboarding to see even more advanced analytics about specific parameters. So here, for example, is risk score per classification. So I can see Jill compared to the medium or the data access. You can also see Jill's activity in that 6 months period, no matter the application that Jill was trying to consume the data from, and no matter the database that Jill consumed the data from. Which means that maybe today Jill was consuming the data from Tableau, from Redshift, but maybe last week she consumed the data from Power BI, from RDS. Everything will be audited and monitored at the same location, and we're going to keep the data for a long time until you, the customer, would like to flash out the data. You can keep the data locally within your SecuPi container. So as you can see here, I have here 3 months, etc., etc. And by the way, all this data, the analytics data, you can flash out and to run even more advanced analytics on that data, because those are just simple e-logs. Now, I just demonstrated you a very easy implementation and easy demonstration on how you can achieve security, privacy, and governance within a singular platform. We demonstrated how we applied column level protection within a single policy, how we applied right to be forgotten capability within a single policy, and all those privacy by design tools and the dashboardings to let you understand in more depth what's going on internally in your organization and to be compliant. Of course, that this demonstration was on Redshift, RDS, and Athena, but we are platform agnostic, so you can still achieve a single pane of glass solution among your entire enterprise. I hope you found this video helpful, and if you have any questions, please reach us at sales@secupi.com. Thank you for watching.